My dear friends, my name is Kuldeep Singh, and it gives me great pleasure introducing you to my new video channel taking up critical issues that may interest everyone. The channel is named Our Concerns, Our Solutions. The issues could range from movies to sports, education to healthcare, economic development to national security, technology to civic rights, mental health to public safety, and so on. In short, every topic that may interest us in our daily lives. Our concern, our solution would take up topics to fill up that need. Our first topic is from India's economic scene. Since economy of any country is an issue that would touch most of us directly or indirectly, the name of the topic is employment, the missing link in Indian development. India is rich in natural resources of every type: minerals, agriculture, natural habitats, biodiversities, water, climate, and so on. It has also excellent manpower resources, some of the best scientists, engineers, doctors, technocrats, bankers, electricians, artisans, or even those which fulfilling day-to-day need like lorry drivers across the globe are Indians. India has a booming consumer market, surging middle income segment, biggest educated manpower segment, a long coastline, important geopolitical and geographic location. It is already become world's fifth largest economy with increasing plans of spending on large infrastructure, technology, energy projects. If we just have to speak in a sum up way, India should be one among top performing economies. However, alas, reality is far from that. India is presently one of biggest underperforming large-sized economies of the world. This would be evident from its poor record in terms of per capita GDP, Human Development Index, poverty figures, and so many both figures which I get from both international as well as from Indian sources. And of course, India has highest unemployment level that it has ever seen in its since independence. The only reason responsible for this underperformance is of course neglect of its unemployed along with even larger number of underemployed persons. Apart from underprivileged, that includes the list of unemployed would include underprivileged, SMEs, agriculturists, and informal sector. In case India is able to reach optimum employment levels, it would be on way of becoming one of the strongest economies of the world. Let us sum it up. Number one, creating sufficient jobs could be the biggest factor kick-starting our economy to higher trajectory. Number two, equally important, it would also contribute towards eradication of poverty, raising people's income, thereby reducing inequalities. Point number three, employment is most important because it adds to GDP through both additional output and demand creation. thereby becoming a self-sustaining rapid growth factor. Below given are some information on the issue of unemployment. I would like to share with you some detail. The most serious consequence of unemployment is poverty, whose negative impacts can be observed through incidences of hunger, illiteracy, dismal healthcare, low skill levels of educational and standards. In terms of manpower, 94% of India's population is contributing just to extent of 45% of its GDP. Even worse, 53% of India's population relies upon agriculture with an output of just 16% GDP. Agriculture, of course, forms the poorest segment of Indian population. It is through employment that more money can be put in their pockets and more output in their working. India presently, that is in 2020, has a working population of about 480 millions. Only 6% of them, or just about 29 millions, are from organized sector, performing with optimum capability. India's working population consists of about 248 million males, that is 51.7%, and 123 million females, 25.7%, with an equal number of females being outside the job market. India is also adding additional 12 millions of manpower to its workforce every year. They form 78.7% of working population among the working class aged between 50 to 65 years. The share of women in marginalized section is more than men. They are largely in cultivation area and rural areas and in household sector in urban sector. While this imbalance needs to be corrected, let's also turn our attention towards another critical imbalance. 57% of Indian workforce is engaged in agriculture, while share of manufacturing is 13.4, trade 9.4%, service 16%, and construction 3.7%, apart from other categories. While service contribution to GDP comes to about 55%, a huge imbalance. Industry 34% and agriculture around 16%. Let's now turn our attention to the solution. India, a case of missed opportunity. India is presently the world's largest democracy with a written constitution promising its citizens best opportunity to choose, express, and grow, a promise it has all the potential to achieve, however, not able to accomplish. It has also the richest heritage in terms of spirituality, enlightened civilization, and material advancement. It also has the world's youngest and largest educated manpower and largest middle income segment. The following details could give a glimpse of that paradox. The topic would cover three vital areas with novel solutions, namely, number one, the issue of unemployment would be tackled with a decentralized approach, that is, through formulating district level business development plans. We would commence with formulating 806 district plans before integrating them into one. Point number two, the nation would have large and multi approach poverty eradication plans aligned with district development plans. Point number three, agriculture would be an important part of such plans. There would be large number, say 22 to 23,000 centers spread from taluka level, providing a comprehensive service package to every farmer of the country. Let us illustrate district planning boards that can help in making more efficient, coordinated plans, giving better results for the nation's progress. Poverty eradication programs. India's poverty eradication programs include programs such as MagNarega, free education and healthcare, artisan schemes, self employment, cash transfer, etc., could also significantly contribute in the nation's economic progress. Agriculture, which supports 53% of our population, saddled with highest poverty and underemployment, there is potential to raise the Indian farm yields by 2 to 3 times. An exclusive section covering agriculture has been added to the topic. Section 2. The solution. Spoken summarily, the solution lies in a decentralized approach to employment creation and nation building. Point number 1. Instead of one national plan for the country, we need to make a separate plan for every district of the country before integrating them in one national plan. Accordingly, we would start with having 806 plan for 806 districts of the country. The advantage of such an approach would be multifold. Point number A. The potential of each district is much better realized based upon its strengths, potential and resources. B. Even the plans thus made would be better planned and implemented, being more coherent, efficient and well coordinated. C. There would be better coordination and cooperation between national, state and local levels. D. Finally, down the century historically, SMEs have been a great contributor to Indian economy and our district plans could play a significant role in planning for the same. Point number 2. Business development plans would need to be done broadly under different categories such as SMEs, agriculture, health and education, rural and urban infrastructure and services, MagNarega, self-employed artisans, poverty eradication program of government, etc. They can all be made plans of this district business plans. Every district would identify specific 8 to 10 industries or businesses under above category for which medium term plans for about 3 to 5 years would be formulated. The chosen lines would be such having an annual growth potential of around 20% for next 3 to 5 years with government assistance. Many of Indian districts are already traditionally known for some particular field. For example, Surat is well known for diamonds, Mirzapur for carpets, Hyderabad for pearls, Delhi for auto parts, silk saris. For silk saris, Banaras is well known. Muradabad is well known for brassware, Aligarh for locks. Of course, after independence, number of new products have been added, and with new technology, more specialization have also come in different districts of the country. Number 5. Then there are some basic categories like education, healthcare, rural, public, urban infrastructure, etc. Needed everywhere. Their inclusion would also be essential. Point number 6. Agriculture would occupy special place as the largest employer and needing a national policy to supplement district plans. A separate section on that has been added at end. Point number 7. Every district would also have plans for Magnarega, artisans and poverty eradication program as stated earlier. They also would be integrated with district plans. Number 8. There would be separate district development committee for each of them. Its members would come from local businesses, experts, or part from one or two government officials to give the plan a final shape. Number 9. The government support plan could be comprehensive, including infrastructure, market development, financial and technical assistance, etc. Apart from state and national levels, government would organize support from financial institutions, corporates, technical experts, etc., foreign institutions as well. Number 10. The plan would then be approved at state and central government levels. A specialized implementing body at every district level would be created to administer, coordinate with different agencies, monitor the plans overseen by central and state governments. The governments would also have an auditing machinery to keep a watch over them. A district development model. The beginning would be made with identifying 10 to 12 business based on feedback from running businesses that can be categorized for strong growth potential, covering essential needs, poverty alleviation, etc. Each of them would prepare 4 to 5 year comprehensive growth plan for itself with support from government and other bodies covering different factors such as policy, infrastructure, marketing, technology, finances, development, etc. The government would prepare an all round comprehensive support package, organizing it through and with assistance from other outside agencies. The governments, both local and national, would thereupon allot the necessary budget, calculate the employment generation, well organized management, and constant monitoring mechanism. India's major employment areas are services and SMEs. Number 1. Sky is the limit of SMEs which can be promoted in all parts of India. A look of some more promising fields is given below. Automobiles, IT, education, renewable energy, e-commerce, healthcare, textiles, real estate, financial services, infrastructure, food, chemicals, tourism, gems and jewelry, construction, engineering machinery, farm products, etc. Finally, SMEs can operate both as independent or ancillary units. Point number 2. Speaking about services, they form the largest segment in terms of GDP value. Indian government spends 2.1% of GDP on healthcare and 3.5 on education, significant below the accepted norms. India also falls below in HDI index. Human Development Index measures countries' achievement in terms of health, knowledge, and standard of living. Increasing our spending on above could promote employment. The technology sector, though vital for the nation's progress, has limited employment potential against investment made. Point number 3. India may have the largest educated manpower but is reasonably placed 29th in talent ranking, but second to last, that is 63rd in educational standards. This is also indicative of employment potential. Section 3. Plans for farm sector. Why is farm sector so important for India? Because 54% of Indian population is dependent on it, and yet it contributes only 16 to 17% to the national GDP. Farm sector is most important for the national economic development and upliftment of its poor. Both the output and farmers' income need to improve significantly in case the sector has to contribute meaningfully towards its own and nation's development. Point number two, India is also among most significant agriculture nation. Being next only to USA in the area, it is among top three nations in wheat, rice, pulses, cotton, peanut, fruit, vegetable, besides milk. However, its productivity is among lowest. The nation could achieve self-sufficiency in food grains only in 1966 when Green Revolution gave first major boost in productivity starting from wheat. So what is the potential? That is point number three. As per studies available, Indian farm yields could be increased by about three times. Achieving the same would also enable India to solve all its socio-economic problems. Point number four. The country also needs self-sufficiency in its nutritional requirement, which would mean adequate attention to supplies of vegetables, fruits, poultry, fishery, milk products, etc., in addition to grains. Number 5. Let's now list out the issues of farmers. A. Improvement has to be achieved in terms of production, farmers' income, and marketability. B. MSP for farmers in the major crops all across the nation. C. MST based upon Swaminathan report was brought out in 2005-6 but has not been introduced since then. We need to make it procurement viable before it is introduced. D. Even the distribution margins for these commodities should be minimized as food prices have bearing on our price index and inflationary pressure. MRP could also be fixed for each of them. E. The farming needs to be fulfilled in terms of quality inputs, irrigation, know-how, equipment, loans and so on. F. Farming sector also needs a vibrating food processing, storage and cold chain units, crop choice assistance, insurance, contract and corporate farming, or to stabilize and improve earning, production and value addition in farm sector. G. Farmers also need alternate livelihood opportunity, rural infrastructure, facilities, MAGNREGA in order to reduce the pressure on farm sector. H. Some single nodal agency should provide our services and within reach of every farmer. Point number 6. The market would need good supply chain management that would ensure adequate supplies without causing any crash of prices for the farmers or shooting up prices for the consumers. Handling such a diverse nature of commodities for a large population and spread such a vast area is a big challenge indeed. Point number 7, such function can be handled more effectively and efficiently by private sector through adequate storage and overseen by regulatory authority for the long-term benefit of farmers and consumers. Even they can be assisted by commodity boards to attract short and long-term funds as well as formulating favorable policy on that specific farm sector. Point number 8, the model such a model would be managed professionally by corporate sector with support from government policies. Point number 9, it will involve organizing the supply of farm products through a large number of retail malls spread all over the country. They would provide one-stop multiple services to the farming community, including providing MSP to farmers on selected largest consumed food item in that particular region, while also fixing their MRP prices. Such a point number 10, such a deal would provide better pricing for the farmers as well as keep retail price at reasonable levels. So cost cutting would be on distribution. Point number 11, the nation would need a large number of such centers, say 4 to 5 each taluka. Calculated for more than 5,500 talukas, the total nationwide number of such malls could go up to 22 to 23,000 centers or even more. Even more important, one fourth of them would have large farm zones with capacity to provide all the services mentioned above. You can imagine the challenge involved in setting up so many centers. Point number 12, these could be handled 60 to 70% of targeted commodities. Other allied activities it could handle would be such as cold chain, warehousing, logistics, food processing, farm implements and equipment, soil testing units, etc. Point number 13, in terms of ownership, while around 40% of the investment could come from corporate sector, balance 40 and 20 could come from farmers themselves and government respectively. Such an ownership pattern would result in adequate professional and financial base along with sufficient income and employment generation for farming community. It would also provide new business opportunity for mandi operators. Agriculture universities would still have large role to play in breeding newer varieties of seeds, organic inputs, irrigation and cultivation techniques, climate change effects, etc. Finally, point number 15, the national planning would be finally integrated into district development plan on agriculture. Well, gentlemen, by now you will understand it's a massive task that can solve the problem not only of our agriculture sector, but it will directly contribute to poverty eradication, uh, lessening of inequalities, and I'm very sure India would very soon cross the target set by government. The first target given by Indian government was $5 trillion. That would be crossed long back. And by 2045, India is aiming to become a developed economy. I know if this above plan is suitably implemented, India would achieve that much before that year. Well, gentlemen, I would like to have your opinion, your suggestion, because the name of our video channel is Our Concern, Our Solutions. How about contributing to that? With that, I thank you and say goodbye to you until we meet next time with a new topic. Thank you so much and bye. A look at Indian farm sector of tomorrow. Ultimately, India has potential to multiply its output by 2.5 to 3 times in its farm sector. It should thereby increase our national GDP also by approximately 25% once the rise has taken place. That would also make us one of the significant world farm players.